No.
It doesn't take an expert to understand that you just cherry-picked that number.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it's just, she's talking about several occasions where she had bruises that left marks on her body.
Yeah.
She talks about one on point 35. And she had marks and bruises that would last for weeks.
Yeah.
And he put his hand in her mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Well,
I mean,
again.
we even had Tom Bibian confirmed that he didn't notice any scars unless she would point out the things that she had on her up here. I can't remember.
Her collarbone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she said, "Oh yeah, Manson did that."
I mean, come on. I have. Yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And
I think he even confirmed that not only to us but also to Colonel.
Yeah.
So even. Yeah.
And she's also, I mean, in point 29, she's like, over the course of the relationship, Miss Smithline was forced to do various jobs for Mr. Warner, such as serving as his personal chef. Like, what? But there was no food around. She just said, I mean, earlier, I'm like, come on, you just said you were malnourished and you had no food and you were not given food, but then you were serving as a chef, his chef. You were his personal chef.
No, she was secretly ordering from Uber Eats.
Look, I've worked as a chef. I can honestly say that's not a good thing. But first of all, you have to taste
where I lived, so
yeah. And I mean, it's not it's a bad thing being a chef. It's not that. But you're gonna taste. You're gonna keep tasting your food while you're cooking. So that's number one. Number two, you eat. I eat always when I cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so what?
And besides, if you work at a restaurant, it's gonna be constant hard work.
Yeah, and the thing is that
so she would have been, not malnourished, but tired almost all the time if she was forced to do that.
Yeah, she was his personal chef apparently during this relationship. Yeah, but she wasn't allowed to eat. So because he wasn't providing her with food. He was just providing.
He just bought food and
stuff
not one
cook.
person.
Yeah, exactly. He just bought for stuff to be prepared, to be cooked. But that's not food, apparently. I don't. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. It's just too. This is the thing. It's just too. There's this lawsuit. It's not like there's one contradicting thing or one thing that doesn't make any sense that you can like question with a lot of things. You know, you can start questioning. There's too many. That doesn't add up or sound just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, all of it just makes you raise an eyebrow.
Yeah. There's too many things, and I can't again stress it enough. 2000 in or around mid-November 2010, this all happened. She flew in to LA.
Yeah.
To work.
Yeah.
To meet him and to work on a film project. She moved in the same time frame. She moved in with him.
Too quick, if you ask me.
Absolutely. Apparently, his apartment was a studio for the film project. There were times where entire production crew was present. So to say that it never manifested or anything, or it was just a way to traffic her into
or that it was
LA.
just bullshit, basically.
Yeah, she's contradicting herself there.
Yeah.
And several days after moving in with Mr. Warner, they began having a sexual relationship with consent.
Yeah.
And then in or around mid-November. So this is all in or around mid-November. This is a span of apparently in several days, yet just a few days. What? Like, no.
So day one, she flew in. Day 2, they were filming. Day 3, he proposed to move in.
Yeah,
and she accepted.
Yeah, so the thing is that in or around mid-November, so let's say it's like 13th of November, she flew in. She moved in the same day. Several days after moving in, they had a consensual sexual relationship. So let's say she moved in.
Not too weird, but it's very quick.
Yeah, but fine, whatever rocks your boat. If you want to move in like the same day and then have sex the same day. But apparently here, go ahead, do it. Several days after moving in. So let's say she moved in 13th of November, say, 17th of November?
Yeah.
Because it's several days. So it's not 1 or 2. It has to be like 4 or 5 days they had sex.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then in and around mid-November, she was sexually assaulted twice and cut. So the time span doesn't add up.
So between like the November 10th, 13th-ish to November 20th, she was flying in. She landed, she met him, she moved in, they had a relationship, which was consensual.
And she got abused and raped twice.
Yeah, exactly.
And cut.
And raped all of that. To 300 times.
Yeah, and and she had a photo shoot at the 23rd of November with a lot of nudity in it.
Yeah,
but remember, she had been cut.
Yeah,
several times.
Well, I mean, her
busted nose.
Yeah, for most of those pictures, her whole bottom part of the body was naked, pretty much, besides shoes.
Yeah, and you can see her elbows, you can see her stomach, you can see her thighs. There's not a single hint of a scar anywhere.
And like I said before, even if he would have used Photoshop, there would be original photos floating around somewhere.
Yeah, that's a lot of work to do for photoshopping away that type of bruises. And also she had her surgery in 2011 and also several after in 2012. So the scar she has on her stomach, what looks to be a scar, at least on her stomach now, looks like a surgical.
Yeah, I mean, we found that out pretty quickly when you noticed that picture with a weird pose.
Yeah.
But like, I think I said it in one of our posts, but if he would have cut her that deep, she would have died on the spot if she wouldn't have had immediate surgery or medical treatment or whatever.
Yeah, and you also have to weigh in the fact
surgeon can cut that deep because has some anesthesia, so she wouldn't notice anything.
Yeah, also they know where to cut.
Yeah.
And they also know what they're doing. I mean, just cutting somebody on the inner arms and elbows and the stomach to draw blood, you have to cut deep.
Yeah.
And she apparently, as it says in her lawsuit, she was in shock, she was in shock from the wounds.
Yeah.
And so she wouldn't have needed medical help. And let's not forget that she was, we have seen, and we will slide in the pics of her.
Yeah.
Like standing up the time frame when she's with Ashley and meeting up with Manson. She is extremely thin. To cut her when she's that thin would be...
That's dangerous.
It's dangerous just in general, but I mean, for a person that thin, she has zero body fat. I'm sorry, but yeah, she's extremely thin. She knows she was. I mean, there's photos of it. So to cut her that deep and draw blood from each wound,
she would have died or suffered from severe blood loss.
Yeah, and she definitely would not have been able to work on a photo shoot.
No.
The 23rd of November.
No, I mean that's not even 2 weeks after they met.
Exactly, and just
it's
remember,
like 10, 12 days.
Yeah, and during those 10, 12 days, they had several days of sex with consent, and then the rape and all of that began, the abuse began. So just like less than 5 days before the photo shoot, she was cut.
Yeah.
It makes no damn sense.
No.
So, yeah.
I mean, you won't even have to read half of this thing to understand that, oh, this is fucked up. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it really doesn't. And
I would understand. I kind of would have understand if you would have been new and you would have like skimmed through it, but
just the first page, the first ones. I mean, we're just from 16 to 28.
Yeah.
Just there, you're like, wait, wasn't she? Wait, it's mid or around? Wait, several days. Wait, it doesn't add up there. The timeline is just fucked up there.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go further.
No.
Go further, you're just down the rabbit hole, you know, deep in the rabbit hole. No.
I mean, it's always important to check the dates when it comes to stuff like this. Always. Because there can be inconsistencies, like with this one.
Yeah. And also that they point out that he supplied drugs to Miss Smithline, and deprived her of food and sleep to weaken her physically and mentally, and decrease her ability to refuse him. I'm sorry. And you all can hate me for this. You all can hate me for this. I think she was depriving herself from food.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's Manson's fault that she was so thin. That's
an
issue she had before.
She's been dealing with for almost all her life. So
yeah. And again, just because somebody provides cocaine doesn't mean you have to take it. Don't blame your coke addiction on somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's your problem. I'm sorry I'm shrugging, but it is your problem, and you shouldn't pin it on somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, he can provide, and as she was saying, he had piles of cocaine, like he was some drug lord.
Yeah, which he would get
from the 80s.
Immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that's shitloads of years in jail with that amount of drugs that she was referring to.
At least in the States.
Yeah, so come on. Again, even if he had those 2 kilos of piles of cocaine in every room, do you have to snort from it? Do you have to take it? No.
No, nobody forced it up your nose.
Yeah, exactly. So again, don't blame your coke addiction on him.
Definitely not.
No.
Also about should we mention the sex trafficking thing? Or
yeah.
About the trafficking.
Yeah. Where? Oh my God, they're going like Mr. Warner interfered with Miss Smithline's civil rights regarding her religion and her right to be free from sexual discrimination and harassment. Oh, for fuck's sakes.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think he gives a fuck if you're religious or not.
And this is the thing here. On point 60, Miss Smithline's duties for Mr. Warner included serving as a personal chef and working on his film project. She was supposed to be in that film project. She was okay with it. They were flying her in for that.
Yeah, she agreed to it, so she
agreed to it. So what's the problem? I don't understand.
I mean, she knew what she was going to do, basically, because she agreed to it.
Exactly. So I don't understand the issue. Throughout this relationship, Mr. Warner regularly verbally and physically demonized. What the hell? I can't see. Okay, well, whatever. He physically harmed her and mentally harmed her, both in private and in front of others. Please, if he did that, who are the others?
And if there were always
come forward.
I mean, yeah, and if I was just gonna say that if there were always so many people there, they would have noticed if he did it in front of them, because apparently he didn't do a complete 360.
he lived in an apartment. It wasn't like a mansion.
Apartments can be really fucking cramped, you know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it wasn't like he was living in a mansion with like 15 rooms and 15 bathrooms, 2 kitchens.
Yeah.
No, but you know, come on. Like, it was an apartment. If there were like a fucking film crew there and band members, because she's pointing out some band members in the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twiggy.
I don't. Twiggy. We all know that he's been accused of rape.
Yeah.
And he's known Manson since the early 90s.
Yeah.
Why would he still be friends with Manson if Manson would be that terrible?
Even
if he saw really saw that happening.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just him, and they're not pointing out who the people are.
I was pointing out him because he has been accused of pretty much.
Oh yeah. And it's just, I mean, there's so many people who can then validate all of this for her and be witnesses for this.
Yeah.
Nobody has spoken out except for the crew of Fall 2020.
Yeah. And I think there was one manager that spoke out, but the thing is since managers are very busy people, at least from what I know. I'm not very experienced, but obviously. But he was rarely there. I mean, he doesn't say it directly, but I think Colonel did a short reaction to when he spoke out about the allegations. It's evident that he was not there and didn't even take the chance to get to know Manson or Evan.
Yeah, and apparently this was done Evan and Manson.
Yeah.
Has anyone come forward specifically for Ashley? That's what I wonder. No.
Not her mom, not her exes, not her no one. No.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And all of these people she's claiming were there, nobody has come forward saying, yeah, I was there, I saw it. You know what I mean? There's nothing. And that's sad, because if this happened, it's sad that then people are not coming forward and be like, I was there, I saw it. But that also makes them kind of guilty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said, I mean, at least recently, that you're equally as bad and equally as guilty as the abuser if you just stand there and watch, because you're enabling it.
Yeah. And about the Trafficking Victim Protection Act, it's there, point 49.
Yeah.
Mr. Warner employed fraud to bring Miss Smithline to the United States from Thailand. He encouraged Miss Smithline to transition to acting from a career in modeling by promising work opportunities that never materialized. But she also states that there was a full crew in his apartment. So
both
they were actually
in
filming.
Lawsuit and in interviews, she states.
Yeah. So the thing is that they filmed it, it was just not released. Well, for whatever reason, fundings, not the time to release it, or whatever the reason might be, there were actually production crew there. And didn't she also say that he was like bashing her and whatnot because she fell asleep during filming? Because she came from Thailand and she wasn't keeping up with her cocaine use?
But I mean, again, I don't really blame him if he would have raised his voice and be annoyed, because that shit takes time and it costs thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but also that indicates that they were filming. So
yeah,
what's your problem? What's the problem? You were in this movie.
They're not gonna sit around and wait for you to wake up.
Yeah, but
grab a cup of coffee or plan things better.
Yeah,
or sleep on the flights, because it takes 30+ hours.
Yeah. And for her not keeping up with her cocaine use is her problem, nobody else's. So But still, that it means that. Yeah, I mean, it means that the thing, it was filmed.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the problem, because it never materialized. Yeah, it wasn't released. The material is there. It just wasn't released.